just take a moment and allow the eyes to stay closed. And just allow yourself to shift the focus, to shift the attention from the world outside you to the world inside of you. Allow the awareness to unhook itself from the sights, because the eyes are closed anyway, but allow it to also unhook itself from the sounds, the sensations of the outside world, and to turn that attention inward. But not inward into the mind. So we want to unhook ourselves also from all of the passing thoughts, from the ups and downs and constant movement of our feeling states. And draw all of that awareness deep within you. Just allow yourself to experience what is it like right now, deep inside of me. Not the play of emotions in my mind, not my tummy rumbling because I'm hungry or I ate something funny for lunch. None of the external things. But what is it really like in the fullness, the expansiveness of myself? And just allow yourself to rest there. You can use the breath as a tool to anchor the awareness. And just keep sending it inward. What is the experience of me in me at this moment? And don't judge it. Don't try to make it something else. Don't analyze it. And just notice how that awareness expands. How that experience of the self expands once it's no longer hooked into the external world or into fleeting thoughts and passing moments. But when it's really anchored deep, notice how expansive it feels. How infinite it feels. Slowly bring the palms of your hands together at chest level and rub them gently against each other. Press the palms of your hands into your closed eyes. Slowly open the eyes and lower your hands. Welcome to Satsang. Wonderful to be together. God, they keep rearranging this room. It's like same furniture in whole new places every day. Same couches, but in new places. Same chairs in new places. It's wonderful. It's like walking into a new room each night. So happy to be together. We are what is the same. The couches and the chairs keep changing places, but we're here. That oneness, that connection, that love, that presence. So starting as always with a question that comes in advance from our family online, and then we'll open it to any questions that anyone here has. How do we practice Pratyahara? Like we just did. So, in what's called Ashtanga Yoga, the 8 limbs of yoga as given by the sage Patanjali in the Yoga Sutras, there's 8 limbs. And we speak about them sequentially, but they're not actually hierarchical. They're all necessary. I won't go into all of them in depth here, but the foundation of them, limb 1 and 2, are what we call yam and niyam. It's the do's and don'ts. You could call them the 10 commandments of a dharmic life, a spiritual life, a righteous life. The 8th limb is samadhi. Bliss, union, oneness, divine connection, whatever English words we use to describe it. And along the way are again, it's not so much steps, it's not like a ladder, so much as they're spoken about as limbs of a tree. Each of them coming out of this center as yoga. I think of them as paths into the river, here on the banks of Ganga. The goal is just get in. We've got all these different ways to get into Ganga. So in a way, you can think of the 8 limbs as ways into yoga. But ultimately, it's really helpful if we actually do all of them. I mean, if you literally just live by yam and niyam, yes, you're doing yoga. Even if you never have stood on your head even once for even 2 minutes, if you actually live by all of the yam and niyam, it's yoga. But the way that they go, we have yam, niyam, these are, as I said, the do's and the don'ts. Then we have asana, it's the physical postures. It's what most of us think of as yoga. If you go to a yoga class, it's going to usually be the asanas. It's going to be the physical exercises. Then we have pranayama, which is using the breath. And remember, they're paths. They're paths. So even asana, as physical exercises, can be a path in when done with that intention. That I'm on a path to union, oneness. That's what yoga means. Not just of my fingers to my toes or, my palms to the ground, but actually that divine union of self to the divine, or jivatma to Parmarth, as we say, the individual soul to the supreme soul. Then we have pranayama, and then we have what's called Pratyahara, which is a withdrawal of the senses. So if you look at the 8 limbs, we move really from the external to the internal. It begins with how we are in the world, through our actions, then how we are with ourself in our actions, our choices, then what we do with our body, what we do with our breath, moving more and more inward, more and more subtle. And then Pratyahara, which is a withdrawal of the senses. So the question, what is Pratyahara and how do we do it? Well, it's actually the meditation we began with. we withdraw our senses. Most of us move through the world with our minds, our awareness, our attention fully hooked into everything around us. I always love it in satsang when somebody sneezes or somebody comes in, not so much in this area, but in some of our other satsang spaces, there'll be doors that enter more like in the middle of the room. Somebody will come in late, or somebody's phone will ring. And what you'll see is every single head will go like this, as though we've never heard anybody sneeze, as though we've never seen anybody enter a room, as though somehow it were, Prime Minister Modi ji calling and the call is for us and we better get it. Somehow that attention is so easily and automatically grabbed by things outside of us. And it happens all the time. It's always a great demonstration of what we mean by our attention. It could be in the middle of a deep satsang. Somebody opens their purse to get something, just a zipper, and everybody goes. That's how most of us live. We are so hooked in everything in the outer world, smells, sights, sounds, movement. So if we're going to embark on a path of yoga, of union, of God realization, of self-realization, well, the first thing we have to do is unhook the attention from the external world and bring it in. We may think that our mind can be in 1,000 places at once, and sometimes we say it, oh my God, I've got 1,000 things on my mind. But the truth is, your mind can actually only be in one place at a time. It can move in rapid succession, but it can only be in one place at one time. And if I am with this sight, this smell, this sound, I'm not with my own internal self. So it's not that sights and sounds and sensations are bad or wrong, they're wonderful. They're our opportunity to interact with creation. But we need to have some time of the day in which we learn to unhook from that so that we can go in. You can't move north and south simultaneously.